And we have the Quiet Atheist from Texas joining us tonight. John, I have some questions for you I want to pose at you. Were you ever religious? And if you were, before, how did you come to your non-belief?
Well, I was Christian for, I'm wanting to say, about 33 years.
Wow, that's about how long I was.
Yeah, and to make it a long story short, one of my core reasons why, in fact, it's probably the biggest reason, but the core reason why I do what I do is the whole childhood indoctrination thing. And I've only been an atheist now for about, I'd say about, I'm wanting to say for the better part of 4 years, maybe 5 years, the most.
That's still young atheist.
Yeah. And when I was about 8 years old, I attended a church service with my uncle and his family. And I definitely was remembering how I was sitting there on the benches and listening to the preacher at the pulpit, you know, and talking about revelations and whatnot. And he talked about how in the end times, you know, God is going to release the devil from his hellish prison to reign over earth for a period of 7 years. And everybody's going to have to bear the mark of the beast to grocery shop or to do anything like we normally do now, you know.
Yeah.
And if you refuse this, you're going to be brought to a court where you will be found guilty, and you would be sentenced to death by beheading.
Oh, geez.
I was 8 years old when they told me that, you know.
Wow.
So I went through my whole life, you know, with this fear in the back of my mind, you know, what the hell's going on here?
Wow.
And I actually first was exposed to atheism not too long ago. I didn't even know what an atheist was, to be honest with you, for the longest time. I was exposed to my first atheist back during MySpace's heyday.
Oh my gosh, MySpace?
Yeah.
I don't think even MySpace is even around anymore.
Oh, it's still around. It's just they messed with it so much it doesn't even look like MySpace anymore.
Oh, I never had a MySpace account. It took me forever to get onto Facebook. I didn't get on Facebook till about 4 years ago. So
yeah. So because, you know, because of all of that stuff, you know, and I started reading the Bible a lot and so on and so forth, you know, and I just determined what rational human being would actually believe in this garbage, you know. And I thought back on my life, you know, because both my father was a Catholic and my mom was a Protestant. And I actually, you know, I just said, I can't take it, because when I was exposed to my first atheist on MySpace, he basically posed out a question to everybody, you know, how could it be in God's plan with September 11th happening? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And I replied with one of the most disgusting things I've ever said to an atheist at that particular point in time. And I said, well, what price would you pay to get your point across? You know?
Wow.
And I sat back and I thought to myself, wait a minute. You know, this is wrong. What did I just say? You know?
Wow. That's a hell of a way to come to a revelation. When you said something to yourself and you're looking back at it going, what the fuck did I just say?
Yeah. And I started reading more blog posts, and then I saw, let's see, my first Dusty Smith video probably about 4 years ago. And I noticed it was from YouTube, and I didn't even know we can post videos on YouTube or anything, because I just thought it was for music. That's how ignorant I was. And I decided to go on YouTube, check it out, you know, and start watching all of these videos and stuff like that, really listening to what people have to say. And I eventually came to a conclusion, man, you know, and here I am.
My next question is, how do you go about making your videos, and how do you film and edit them?
Well, actually, I don't have any editing software. I don't have anything. All I have is my webcam that my sister got me a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And I have some webcam software on my laptop that I got from the, Logitech.com. And the webcam that I have is really nice. I'll record my video, and then I'm able to upload it directly to YouTube.
Okay. I noticed you have this new intro where it has the Quiet Atheist as this guy with a hat and everything. Is like, "Wah." Did you make that yourself, or did someone else make that for you, or?
No, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the guy, but he goes by the name of P.W. Swivel.
Oh yeah, I've heard of him. We haven't had him on the show yet, but I'm familiar with him. Yes.
Yeah, he's the one that made the intro and outro for my channel.
Oh well, we'll have to eventually maybe get him on the show at some point. Maybe help us spruce things up here. What got you into making YouTube videos? I mean, what really inspired you to go, you know what, I got something I need to say, and I need to put up a channel so everybody else can hear this as well?
Well, to be honest with you, Packard, the bigger YouTube channels, you know, the bigger YouTube or atheist YouTubers out there inspired me to a degree, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I myself wanted my voice heard, you know, and it's something that I have always wanted to do right from the beginning.
Yeah.
So I said, well, what the heck? I want to start posting, get more comfortable talking in front of a camera, and then I could just go balls to the wall with it, you know.
You know, if you do that on YouTube, they block your channel. Just saying.
I don't mean
I'm just kidding.
I don't mean literally.
That's a whole other channel. If you're gonna do that, that's a whole other channel. I apologize. I like the kid. What's one of the best YouTube channels out there you've seen that you personally like, other than, you know, Packard Pokes At?
Well, I've got a bunch that I like, man. It's hard to pinpoint which ones are the best. One of the ones, I have to be honest with, there's two that I'll say here now.
Okay.
One of the two of the ones that I like the most is, one of them's from Dark Matter 2525.
Oh yeah, I like Dark Matter 2525. He's my kids and I we'll watch together actually once in a while.
Yeah. I mean, I love his work, you know, and it's awesome. And the other one is Theoretical Bullshit.
I have not heard of him yet. I'll have to subscribe to him later.
Theoretical Bullshit, yeah. Yeah, he makes really excellent, like, highly intelligent videos.
Yes, I mean, he when he speaks and when he makes his videos, damn, dude, he's sophisticated and everything. I mean, I watch his videos because I'm fascinated with philosophy a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, damn, there's no bullshitting with that guy. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah.
I will definitely have to check him out.
Matt Dillahunty said that he likes to download the audio of his YouTube videos and listen to them as podcasts.
Really? Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Cool. Now, I asked this of all our guests. How did you come up with your name for your channel, the Quiet Atheist? How did that evolve?
Well, initially, when I first started my YouTube channel, it was called The Closet Atheist, you know, because I didn't tell anybody.
Right.
But after I made a few videos, you know, I had a subscriber come up to me and basically tell me, you know what, you're really quiet in your videos. You don't shout, you don't cuss, you don't flip people off, you don't do this, you don't do that. I think I'm going to call you the Quiet Atheist. And it stuck with me.
Oh, I see. So somebody else gave you the name. Oh, yeah. That's kind of cool, too. What do you do? You were mentioning previously in our first segment that you were working with the police force. What do you do now for work? Do you have a regular job, or do you just make videos mainly to survive?
Well, what I do now is, after I told you guys about that experience that I had to quit. I went, got some help, like I said. I was diagnosed with having PTSD. I have a major depressive disorder, and I have a severe anxiety disorder. So right now I'm trying to get help from the government.
Okay.
And that's what I got going now.
Okay. That's well, at least it's something, you know. Got to bring.
Good luck with that, man.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Dealing with the government, it's never a fun situation. Joe, do you have any questions for the Quiet Atheist?
I'm so embarrassed. No.
You don't have any questions?
I'd like to make a quick comment. Sorry about that, Joe.
No problem.
To the guy in the chat box, Torvarin.
Oh, Torvian, yes.
Torvian, yeah. He said he was assuming that I was Hispanic, and that is correct. I am.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Oh, that's cool.
I'm shocked.
Shocked, mate. Shocked. We'll take some questions from the chat room, and if you would like to call and have your question on the air, you can call 857-216-3200. Use PIN number 35368, or go to uberconference.com/Packard Pokes At, and then you can call in, and then you can take your question right on the air. I'll repeat the number again. It's 857-216-3200. The PIN number is 35368, and it should be scrolling across the bottom of your screen right now as well.
Okay, I've got the Quiet Atheist YouTube channel up.
Okay.
It says popular uploads, my kids, science, and dinosaurs. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's my most popular video.
Tell me about that video.
I had to work that day. It was still when I was in the prison system. I used to work for the maximum security penitentiary here where I'm at, and my wife decided one day that she was going to take the kids out to this dinosaur museum, and it was like, it's only here once a year, so she decided to take them, and they had these animatronic dinosaurs that were built up, you know, and they'd walk a little bit, move their head, make sounds, whatever, you know. And
that's cool. Yeah.
And it's like a dinosaur museum. They show fossils, you know, and stuff like that. And she recorded it, so I broke it down in sections, and I decided to upload it. And there's almost 9,000 views on that video. That's the most. Yeah, that's the most popular one I have.
Cool.
Wow, that's cool. I'm gonna have to definitely check that out. I love dinosaurs.
Yeah, we have a caller. We have Dave on the line. Dave, you have a question for the Quiet Atheist.
I do. So you had mentioned the 7 years and all of that after the rapture, and I actually recently, my mother asked me what the rapture was, and she's an Episcopalian, so she's kind of Catholicism light. But some of our relatives were discussing the rapture over dinner and apparently implied that she was going to hell, and she asked me to tell her about the rapture. As an atheist, how should I respond, and how involved in my mother's affairs with family should I get?
That's a good question, Dave. Thank you.
Well, I mean, it's like this, you know. It's up to you basically how involved you want to get with this subject with your family, you know, because there's always that situation, you know, well, how they're going to react, you know, to what you're going to talk about, especially the person that you do want to talk about with this as far as explaining the rapture is concerned. Because with me personally, I never told any of my family, you know, they don't know that I'm an atheist, and pretty much it doesn't matter to me now anyways, because they practically disowned me after my mother died. So but yeah, and but if you want to sit down with her and talk with her about it, you know, that's would be up to you if you want. As far as the family is concerned, well, it is also up to you if you want. I mean, how are they with you? Do they know that you're an atheist?
Yeah, my family knows that I'm an atheist. My mother recently has expressed that she was questioning. Now, my family and I are pretty estranged. My mother is close with them. My mother simply saying she was questioning has led one of our cousins who just had a newborn baby to think that my mother was going to brainwash her baby into being an atheist, despite my mother not really being an atheist. So, I mean, they know where I stand. However, I stay out of their affairs. Now, my mother's asking me about these things. Specifically because they brought up the rapture and said that she was, you know, damned.
Well, if you like I say, you know, if you feel comfortable explaining it to your mother, I mean, I'm all for that. You know, if you want to sit down with her and have a talk about it, that's fine. You know, because it's, you know, one of the main driving forces that I have, you know, is childhood indoctrination. You know what I mean? And it's something that, you know, I despise. You know, I cannot stand that crap, you know, because I was a child myself when I first heard of it. And I've never really had anybody approach me and ask me to explain these things to them. But like I was telling you, you know, if she's willing to sit there and listen to what it actually is, by all means, explain it to her. Let's see what see what her thoughts are about it.
All right. We had a question come in over Twitter from my producer. She asked, "What would it take for you to change your mind about being an atheist?" Which I'm sure I'm sure you get that question a lot, actually.
Well, evidence.
Thank you. And thank you, Dave, for calling in.
I'm a show me atheist.
I get that. I was like, what would it take? Evidence,
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, see, the problem with Christianity for me is they start with a conclusion, right?
Yeah.
And it's something that's absurd to me. It's preposterous. But that's, I don't know. I get a lot of these guys coming to my YouTube channel, and they tell me this, they tell me that, and I go, okay, where's your evidence?
Right.
And then they come up with, where do you get your morality from? Where do you get this from? Where do you get that from? Oh, man.
Connie had a question. She goes, was asking from the chat room here. That's Seawalker. She asks, what brand of Christianity did you belong to? What flavor of the month, or what flavor of the Christianity, I guess.
Flavor of the month.
That's what I like to call them, the flavors.
Yeah. I was Catholic.
Oh, Catholic. I got to ask, I've never taken part in anything in Catholicism, but I know I've seen it done. People go up and they get the little wafer shoved down their throat. They tell you not to chew those, right? But I have observed it a few times when people walk away and I can see them start chewing on it right away. Are you supposed to let this thing dissolve in your mouth?
Yeah. I did that for a midnight mass, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
When my wife and I first got married, and we had to go to a midnight mass and do all of that stuff through the Catholic Church.
Okay.
Yeah.
Midnight Mass is the one on Christmas Eve, right?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. We had to do that. Yeah. It was one of the steps we had to take before we could get married.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My next question about those things, I've heard they're flavorless. I mean, do they taste good in peanut butter? I mean, with peanut butter on them, I just.
I don't know. I've never tried one with peanut butter. I'm not sure.
But I'm assuming that these things are like flavorless and tasteless.
A friend of mine.
Well, they're pretty much flavorless, I think. Yeah, they're not. They don't have any real detailed taste to them at all.
Oh, so if you did put peanut butter, you'd just be tasting peanut butter then, huh?
Yeah.
Just something to hold the peanut butter at that point.
A friend of mine told me that at his brother's first communion, his brother went up, accepted the communion, came back, and was like, Jesus needs more salt.
Catholics always claim that they, this is they claim that this cracker turns into the body of Christ, like pieces of Christ,
the flesh of Christ.
The flesh of Christ. I mean, did that ever strike you as being like somewhat cannibalistic?
It should taste like bacon.
It should taste like bacon.
Well, it seems to be a little bit ridiculous, wouldn't you think? I mean, how big does this guy have to be in order to spread around to the entire planet full of Catholics?
Yes. Jesus had a lot of meat on his bones, apparently. He must have been a really big guy. They've been able to hand out pieces of his skin for like 2,000 years. I'm just saying, yeah.
He has to probably be literally the size of Galactus for Marvel Comics.
Exactly, man. Exactly. We're gonna go and mine some Jesus right now. We'll be back in a couple of hours. Did we have any other questions from the chat room there? Dave had made a comment that I don't think the Catholics consider the Book of Revelations to be more than allegory.
Well, yeah. The thing is, when I went to that church service with my uncle, they were from a different denomination, and that's where I heard the Revelations from.
Do we have any other callers or questions that would like to ask John a question?
I don't see any.
I don't see it. Oh, here we go. One from Dawkins Dog. If you could wipe religion from history, would you?
Probably not. And the reason why is because if something is totally destroyed and off the planet, I mean, there's always going to be something else to replace it.
That's true. I heard this great quote a while back. If all history was reset, science and facts would still be science and facts because, they're based in facts. Religion would take a whole nother form because it's so fluid. We could, instead of, believing that, there's a magic man in the sky, we could believe that the dirt is specially soiled or something, or whatever. It could take a whole other form.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. There would always be something to replace it. I was reading a couple of articles the other day how the numbers for Christianity are rapidly going down. You know what I mean? There's more and more people leaving than ever before.
Mm-hmm.
But I also read another article about how Islam is rising, and that's definitely something that is worrying me as well.
Yeah.
But, it doesn't matter if any of these religions were completely wiped out, there'll always be something to replace them.
Yeah. Dawkins Dog asked a follow-up question. If you could remove it as of tomorrow, would you?
I don't know. That's a good question. I probably wouldn't. I'm not your hardcore anti-theist. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I just let them do their own thing as long as they mind their own business and stop shoving it down other people's throats. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the moment it hits Capitol Hill and the moment it hits the public school system and the moment you get a bunch of these street preachers on the street harassing people and stuff like that, that's when I have a problem with it.
Yeah. For me, I'm an agnostic atheist, but socially, when it comes to religion and our social structure, I'm an anti-theist. And I would personally like to see it gone myself.
Yeah, well, and that's understandable. I've even had people approach me and ask me if I was an anti-theist because there are things that I have a strong stance against when it comes to Christianity. And, and I just don't like it. I really don't. I can't stand it. But at the same time, I don't know. It's complicated for me. I'm not the type of person that likes to go and, trample on other individuals, and stuff like that. It's just, I'm different. I'm an agnostic atheist too, but I don't know, man. It's just, I think it's extremely unnecessary for society because we can obviously see in society today that it does nothing but hold society back. I mean,
oh, I agree with you on that point. We had another question from Dave. You're damned. He says, do you think education without indoctrination is the best path to atheism?
I think education is very important. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that if we teach kids, how to think and not what to think, I think they'd be a lot better off,
Yes.
One of the situations with me is very rough in my household because my wife is full-blown Catholic.
Oh, I hear you can get a shot for that now. No.
and I'm, when it comes to our kids, you're fine to learn whatever you want to learn. You judge for yourselves what's what, and I'm fine with it. You come up with your own conclusions. I'm not going to tell you what conclusions to have.
Very good. Very good. You mentioned your wife is Catholic. Is there any friction between you two when it comes to this, or is this like we'll just deal with everything one thing at a time, and when it comes to this topic, we just like opposite poles and just repel away from each other, and we just don't bring it up, or how does that work for you?
Well, once in a while she'll bring it up. We'll get into an argument sometimes, whatnot, but it's never really an issue in the house.
Okay.
She does tend to like to mock me in front of people. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's always fun.
That's not cool.
Yeah, and it's all right though. I don't really get pissed off about it, but I don't know.
That's what I find is kind of interesting. Is that if you were to, let's reverse the roles a little bit here. If you were to do that to her, she would, be crying persecution. I'm not saying that that's her personality, but I mean, a lot of Christians will do that. But they feel like it's like, okay, I can kind of, poke fun at the atheist because he doesn't believe. And that seems to be perfectly a legitimate stance for them.
Well, one day she poked fun at me on my Facebook by sending me a picture of a praying mantis. But the only difference between that picture and a regular picture of the praying mantis was the fact that the praying mantis that she sent me wasn't praying. He just had his arms up going, you know, like, I don't know, what's next, you know?
So it's like, all a good humor then. It's kind of good humor. It's like, ah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I understand that.
And John, I'm in a similar situation. My wife is Catholic, and for the most part, we leave each other alone about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have had discussions, but you know, for the most part, it's just like she goes to church on Sundays. I can't hang out with her until she comes back. So it is what it is. So.
Yeah. Well, the thing about us, despite our differences, my wife and I, she's always there to support me. She supports me in regards to my YouTube channel.
That's good.
She supports me. Even though she disagrees with me, she'll support me, though.
Oh, that's good, at least.
Yeah.
We had another question from Dave, You're Damned. Do you have children? And if you had children, how would you deal with the education and religious consideration, your wife and situation and disagreement?
Well, I have 2 children. One's 15 and one's 10. As far as them learning about things is concerned, you know, if they're going to learn about a religion, they have to learn about all of them.
There you go.
They can't just learn about one, you know.
And your wife is okay with that then? Saying, you know, it's like, oh, if I'm going to teach them one, I got to teach them all of them?
Yeah, because they can't just, you know, like I was saying earlier, you know, they're more than welcome to learn anything they want, study anything they want, you know, and they could come up to their own conclusions eventually, but I'm not going to influence them on what to think about.
Oh, that's good. I really wish the religious people would do that as well. We'll take any last questions there. Oh, PW Swivel just joined us in the chat room. Hello, PW.
Yeah, there's PW Swivel.
There he is. So, PW, do you have any questions for the Quiet Atheist since you just joined us?
Yes, PW. Any questions for me, buddy?
He's thinking. Dawkins asked another question here. Said, if you had to pick one religion to follow, which would it be?
Oh, that was a good one there. That's a good question. Let's see here. If I actually believed that there were gods out there, you know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, I would have to go with the Greeks.
The Greeks?
Yeah. Like Zeus and
those
guys.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is according to their mythology, you know, they acknowledge their mistakes.
Oh, okay.
You know, and with Christianity, you have Christians who say, you know, oh, he cannot make mistakes. He's perfect. This and that, yada, 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 you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just something about the Greek mythology, you know, I'm really interested in it. You know, I'm not going to become a theist or anything like that, but, you know, it's just, I'm interested in that stuff.
Yeah.
You
know? Dave commented that they are human enough to relate. And I was thinking the same exact thing in that point. I mean, and you made the point there that they make mistakes, they admit to it or whatever. Sometimes they try not to, but, you know, you can see how human their mistakes are by doing certain things, and they're more relatable in that regards.
Yeah, and that's you know, the mythology that I would pick, you know.
Yeah, I want to thank the Quiet Atheist for joining us tonight. John, where can they find your channel?
www.youtube.com/ or how does it go? youtube.com/The Quiet Atheist.
There you go. Do you have a Twitter account, which is also at The Quiet Atheist too?
Yes.
Okay. So you can reach him on Twitter. So give him a follow on Twitter. And are you on Facebook as well, by chance?
Yes.
All right. Excellent. So give him a follow on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube.
Yeah. Thanks for coming, John.
And,
I just subscribed to your YouTube channel.
Yes.
No problem. Thank you guys for the subscription.